Why would you shut down 12 doctors talking about a pharmaceutical product that is being used and been in over 65 studies around the world with a lot of success? The only studies we can find that Fauci and people are pointing to are so dangerous and poorly done and clearly appear to be using lethal doses to make their point. But when real doctors use a really logical dosage of hydroxychloroquine, usually in combination with azithromycin and zinc or just zinc, there seems to be real success. And that's one of the things that Tony Fauci keeps alluding to, right? Well, I mean, hydroxychloroquine has got to work on its own, or I don't trust it. Well, no. I mean, there's a protocol. There's things that multiple compounds together can actually work together. So the trial shouldn't be just hydroxychloroquine by itself, because not a single doctor has said that's all I'm doing. They're saying very specifically hydroxychloroquine, azithromycin, and zinc being used together. But why would you gun for it? Why at a time where people are dying is Facebook only allowing you to do nothing? Is YouTube only allowing you to do nothing? Why is Tony Fauci demanding that you do nothing at a time where we have the PrEP Act saying, try some things? People are dying. If your patient's not looking good, take a shot. You know, look around the world. There's a lot of people talking about this. Instead, they want it dead. They want it dead in the water. It is so obvious. Tony Fauci is giving every forgiveness to every problem in the vaccine trials right now. Oh, I don't care about the people that got sick. I'm not really worried about its efficacy. I don't really care. But boy, when it comes to hydroxychloroquine, I want triple, double-blind, placebo groups by the tens of thousands before I'm ever going to approve this thing. Well, when we were trying to think what would really be behind it, I've been saying, I'm telling you, I think it's the vaccine. Folks, I think they're trying to force a vaccine on all of us, which open up all the future vaccines that they want to pour into us without our choice. We actually saw the ACIP meetings, the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices. This is the CDC group that works at voting to add vaccines to the schedule. They had an emergency meeting last week right before our show went live. Here's just a little part. Remember, you're just going to see a big slide. You're going to hear people talking because these meetings are extremely boring, and they've even gotten more boring now that everybody is simply zooming in from around the country. But I just want to point out one of the major discussions they had, and the meeting was all about the future COVID-19 vaccine. This is the part I want to focus on. What's really behind this? Why would they not want a treatment to work when all the doctors using a treatment seem to be having success? Look at this.
So there are other regulatory mechanisms for making vaccines available that do not involve licensure. And one of these, the one that is perhaps most pertinent to addressing the COVID-19 pandemic in the U.S. is the FDA's authority to grant emergency use authorization, or EUA.
EUA. I love it how they make up these things. We got to call EUA, EUA. But here's the point. They were meeting to talk about the emergency use authorization. Why? Well, because if Donald Trump is going to have warp speed, that means that and by the way, we are apparently spent $1 billion manufacturing the Moderna vaccine right now as we speak. I think another $1 billion is manufacturing Oxford's AstraZeneca vaccine before it's through safety trials. And even though the guy at Forbes wants you to take vaccines before they've ever been through a safety trial, you really can't do that unless the FDA allows emergency use. Right? Now, this is something the CDC wants to be a part of. We want emergency use. So look at what the criteria is. The declaration by HHS Secretary of Emergency Situation leading to serious or life-threatening disease or condition, meaning HHS has to declare this is an emergency. There has to be evidence of an effectiveness for product intended to address emergency. In this case, the COVID-19 vaccine. And the EUA standard is it may be effective. Wow, that's impressive, isn't it? Well, I don't know. There's a chance it could be effective. That's all we need. That's all we need to go ahead and let people get it. There has to be known and potential benefits of the product that outweigh the known and potential risks of the product. The intended use, e.g., number of individuals to be treated, and risk uncertainties impact application of EUA effectiveness standard. But here's the big one. There can be No adequate, approved, and available alternative. No adequate and approved alternative. There can't be any other way to treat it in order for us to force this vaccine on you without proper long-term safety trials. I mean, am I doing my job here? This is what a reporter's supposed to do, right? What could possibly be the motivation for the head of our, health task force who happens to work at NIH where they own patents in the Moderna vaccine? Well, besides owning patents and besides the ability to make millions of dollars themselves, what would be the other potential, motivation, right? It's kind of like law. Lawyers got to come up with the motivation for the crime. Well, in this case, could it be that if we have a treatment like hydroxychloroquine that is showing anywhere between 60 to 99% success rate, even Ford Medical Center, one of the big research hospitals, looked at 6 hospitals, thousands of patients, said they had half the deaths in the group that got the hydroxychloroquine. So would you want to kill that study and just say, I don't accept Ford Medical Center because actually, if they're right, we can't use the emergency use for the vaccine? We dug a little deeper just in case you're saying, well, that was kind of vague. It was just the line. So what do they mean there can be no alternative? We looked up the FDA. They have the emergency use, authorization of medical products and related authorities, guidance for industry and other stakeholders. We went and looked up, well, what would it mean to have no alternatives? Here is the exact definition. For FDA to issue an EUA, there must be no adequate, approved, and available alternative to the candidate product for diagnosing, preventing, or treating the disease or condition. Remember, people are using hydroxychloroquine in 200 milligram doses every other day or so that are frontline doctors, so they're using it as a preventative. We also remember that 2005 study, that really pesky study that by the NIH that Fauci knows about, that said that the hydroxychloroquine is not only appearing to be effective against SARS coronavirus, at stopping it and mitigating its effects, it also can be a preventative, be used as a preventative. So let's read the rest of this. So we know it does all of those things based on a study in 2005 by Fauci's own NIH. A potential alternative product may be considered unavailable if there are insufficient supplies. We don't have that problem of the approved alternative to fully meet the emergency need. A potential alternative product may be considered inadequate if, for example, there are contraindicating data for special circumstances or populations, e.g., children, immunocompromised individuals, or individuals with a drug allergy. If a dosage form of an approved product is inappropriate for use in a special population, a tablet for individuals who cannot swallow pills, for instance, or if the agent is or may be resistant to approved and available alternative products. I mean, look at that whole last part of this would be an argument against any vaccine usage at any time because everybody's different, right? There is no one-size-fits-all. Doctors can't give hydroxychloroquine or any drug for that matter. They can't give any of the drugs they're advertising on the TV to everybody because, as the side effects say in that long ticker tape, someone's going to die, someone's going to get heart disease, someone's going to have anal leakage. That's just the way it goes. That's how drugs work. So anyway, there you have it. I think they're gunning for any treatment, and believe me, that will be remdesivir. It doesn't matter what you call it, whether it's an asthma inhaler that somehow blocks the issues that are going on in the lungs. They cannot have a treatment because they have to force you into compliance with the vaccine, potentially before it's even proven safe. If you like that clip, then be sure to check out our live broadcast of The High Wire every Thursday morning at 11 a.m. Pacific Time. You can watch it on Facebook, iTunes, and Twitter. We'll see you there.